Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monday Message for Monday, November 2nd, 2020. It's Darren here with you again. And I'm working from home today, and we'll talk about working from home here in just a little bit, but I know how difficult it can be. Everything that you have back at the office, you know where it is, you know where everything is, and when you're at home, things can be a little discombobulated when you're working from home. So I completely understand where many of you are coming from, and we'll look at some of those survey results here in a minute. But first, I want to take a look at some NorCal notes. In our NorCal notes today, we want to wish a very happy anniversary to James Morey. James, your anniversary is on November 2nd of 2019, so 1 year that you've been with NorCal. We're so glad to have you here. We'll talk more about James in just a moment. Also, we have a couple of birthdays, including Vanessa. Vanessa has a birthday on November 7th, coming up here in just a few days. And today is the birthday of Mike Flynn. So Mike Flynn's birthday is today. So the question is, who is Mike Flynn? Well, happy birthday, Mike. Mike Flynn is the new underwriting representative for NorCal Public Media, and Mike actually starts today on his birthday. So he's meeting with Cindy and Amy, and they're going over everything that he needs to know about our underwriting practices as he gets ready to get out there and make some great sales on behalf of the organization. So welcome, Mike. Also in employee news, I want to tell everybody some really good news about James Morey. So James, as you know, has been on TV Master Control. He's been volunteering for radio, and he's been taking care of a lot of our facility needs around the organization. Well, James Morey is going to be moving into the radio traffic and operations coordinator position. So since Sean is going to be leaving here near the end of the month, James is going to be stepping in to take over most of those responsibilities. Now, the programming responsibilities of Sean's position will go to the new executive producer of radio. So that's where the programming stuff will be, and the traffic and operations stuff will remain with James Morey. So James, congratulations on your position, and we're all here to make sure that we can do whatever you need to succeed. Next up, I want to talk about our election special we did for November 2020. The special aired last night, Sunday night, at 6 p.m. on KRCB TV and KPJK TV, and Adia did a fantastic job of putting together this program of Zoom interviews and checking in with people all around the state. We worked with our partners at News Up Now in San Francisco and the journalists at Cal Matters to put together a really good show. So let's take a look at a few clips of last night's program.
Welcome to Connect the Bay's November election special. I'm Addie White, News Director at Northern California Public Media and your host for tonight's show. This election promises to be unprecedented, with the potential for a contested presidential race, a record number of early voters, and a historic election amid a global pandemic. Here in California, voters will deliberate 12 propositions. We'll unpack a few of the most controversial, which are likely to make waves in the Bay Area, whatever voters decide.
The election day is coming up, and if you haven't received your ballot, you still can vote.
You can also vote in person at the City Hall, at the voting center outside of Bill Graham Civic Auditorium. And also, you can, in case you just want to return your ballot directly to the department without having to go through USPS, we will have 11 drop-off stations open across the city.
Let's talk about unofficial ballot drop boxes. We've seen some reports of those being put up in Southern California. Has that been happening here in Sonoma County at all?
No, we didn't see any evidence of that.
And what should people do if they're concerned about being able to identify official versus unofficial ballot drop boxes?
I would check our website. We do have all the locations listed. And then ours are sturdy metal boxes. They're bolted to the ground. They have our seal on them, information in several languages, our contact information.
We usually have about 80%, but I think we're about to hit higher than that. Yeah, this is a record-breaking year for everything all across the state, including this county.
They're urging voters not to wait until the last minute to vote.
Stakes are a lot higher. It's a lot more important what we're going through. I think that getting involved and voting and having the election go a certain way will foster democracy.
He remembers 4 years ago, his college friends didn't vote.
California's new labor law was supposed to reclassify thousands of contract workers as employees, giving them higher pay, healthcare, and family leave. But companies like Uber and Lyft haven't complied. They've threatened to shut down and say the law would force them to cut jobs and raise prices.
So even if this fails, it's possible that through judicial fiat, basically, that this would be undone. Either way, cash bail would no longer exist in California.
Can you talk more about the history of cash bail reform in California?
Because the first election was more of a wake-up call.
He feels sad over this reality.
And the fact that he's able to run again, kind of after like all these scandals and all these issues that he's had in office, all the lies, all the deceit.
If you haven't voted yet, it's not too late. Even if you haven't registered, you can cast a provisional ballot at an in-person voting location near you. You can also leave your mail-in ballot at an official drive-through ballot drop box. You'll find all this information, including where and how to vote, on our website, norcalpublicmedia.org/election2020. Thanks for joining us.
A really good show, and thanks to Joshua and Yinka and Isabel and Amy and Anthony and everybody coming together to make sure that this program was a success under Adia's leadership. So thank you so much. Now, if you didn't get a chance to see the entire program on Sunday night, last night, there is a link in the email with this message that you can click on and watch the entire program. So check it out. I highly recommend it. It's a great show. Also, now I want to talk about the work from home surveys that we've been doing. And everybody pretty much has filled out by now. We still have 1 or 2 stragglers out there, so you know who you are. If we haven't received your survey, make sure to get it into Amy right away. So let's start out and look at some of the findings so far that we're starting to see, just looking here in the past couple of days at what's been coming in. One thing is there seems to be a disconnect between what staffers believe when it comes to keeping up with their workload and the projects and the timeliness compared to what the department managers actually report about slowed down progress and missed deadlines. So we have some work to do there in communication with each other. So that's a really interesting aspect, and we'll dig into that and make sure that everybody's on the same page. Also, we need staff to reach out when you need more work or when you can help carry the load during really busy times and you find that your workload isn't as high as perhaps it would be in the office. It's fine to divulge that information and make sure that your manager knows that you have the capacity to help out with other projects, because you know there are a ton of projects going on and we can use all hands on deck. So don't be shy about sharing that information. A small number actually, which is encouraging, just under 10%, that it's difficult to do everything that you need to do when you're working from home. So that's good to hear. It shows that people have been getting used to working from home during COVID. Now, I also want to talk about that we've all been missing out on taking advantage of professional development opportunities. So when we look at how people have been answering those questions in professional development, folks have been doing a lot of good work to take webinars, about over 40% of that, and reading up on things, over 50%, conversations with colleagues at other stations and partners in the community, and then internet research, of course, everybody online figuring out what they can for their jobs, and then other things thrown in there at the end. So I think that, you know, showing that just over 50% of us are actually taking advantage of professional development opportunities during this time. That's a really missed opportunity. So, you know, this is a time when we can all be learning a lot about our jobs and helping to reimagine what our jobs could look like in the future. NEDA, CPB, PBS, NPR, Development, Greater Public, everybody's offering a lot of webinars and information to learn and grow in our jobs. So let's take advantage of that. And I think what we're seeing here is, again, a disconnect in that it's not that people don't want to do it, it's that they don't know what the tools and resources are available to them. So again, talk to managers, reach out to managers, and we'll be addressing that very, very soon, so that you can let your manager know that you want to do more and you want to learn more, but you need the opportunity and you need to be pointed in the right direction. Also, managers have heard about technical issues from staff, more than what has actually been reflected in the survey. Now, again, that could be because these were early on. Early on, we heard a lot of technical issues that people were having, so a lot of that has probably been smoothed out by now when we look at productivity from home, and so those things have lessened over time. I think we've addressed most of the hardware and software issues that people have. Office supplies is a small concern right now, but it is one that if you need something, make sure you let folks know so that we can get that fulfilled for you. Software questions, HitCare, IT, things like that. More online meetings with coworkers that people would like to see. Only a little over 20% of that, which shows that there are quite a few meetings going on between coworkers right now, but some folks would like to see more than that. Also, folks who are interested in web-based applications for project management, I think that's always a helpful thing for all of us to learn about. And then this really, really big purple graph down at the bottom, which is other, please specify. So when it comes to productivity, what we found in that category is a lot of people are talking about wanting to have more connections with each other, wanting to have open dialogues and meetings and sharing with each other. And that's different, obviously, from having more departmental or colleague meetings, right? So we're all looking for ways to reach out and talk and share and be together. And I think that's a big need that we're seeing amongst the staff, and one that I want to make sure that we fulfill in a one-on-one interactive way. Monday messages are great. You know, people have told me that they like them. People are saying they're great messages, these Monday messages, but that's one-way communication, and we need to make sure that we're opening up broader, large conversations that we can all be involved in. And we'll figure out how to do that through Zoom and through online platforms to make sure we do that. But I think that this survey has been a really good start for that kind of conversation. Now, Amy's going to be coordinating with all of you on the various NorCal teams that we're forming to address different areas of concern. We have folks who want to be part of the sustainability group, which actually has already started with Katira and James Morey. Emergency preparedness, a lot of people wanting to weigh in on marketing concerns for the organization, which is great to hear because that's one of our biggest weaknesses and one of our biggest needs is getting the word out to folks who aren't already part of the choir, right? Who aren't already watching and listening. Community engagement group, retreat planning group, which I think will be very valuable. It's been a couple years since we had an all-staff retreat, and that seems like something as soon as we get out of COVID that we could jump right into, but in the meantime, we can be planning to put that together. And then also some community volunteer service, because there's always some things in the community that we could be participating in as an organization. So in short, those are the first results coming in for the survey. There's a lot more to come. And the first step that we're going to take to follow up on the survey questions is to call the managers together. And Amy and I are going to walk everybody through in the management group, your department heads, what the findings were and ways that we can explore trying to address the concerns that people have. So I thank everybody for participating. This is going to be an ongoing project here for the next few weeks or months as we take all of this and synthesize it and try to make sure that we have a better organization because of it. So there you go. It's been a great exercise, and I thank everybody so much. So remember to stay safe, stay strong, work together, and I'll talk to you soon.